This video is sponsored by Squarespace. In the late 80s, Warner Bros. Approached Steven Spielberg to work on a version of Looney Tunes, except they were kids now, as was the style at the time. This would eventually become the massively successful Tiny Toon Adventures. Looney Tunes, and by proxy Tiny Toons, were always made to be rebellious in nature, intentionally going against the grain of the more wholesome Disney output, like an episode about swearing.
Dadgummit, I spilled milk all over my lettuce!
And a long-time banned episode on drinking beer. This was massively appealing to young teens. In fact, one episode was even written by 3 teenage fans of the show. So after having something tiny, toony, and a little loony, the follow-up Spielberg collaboration was something totally insane. Tiny Toons had a lot of meta humor that constantly broke the fourth wall, but Animaniacs pushed it way further, now having the characters literally named the Warner Brothers.
We're the Warner Brothers.
Like the studio?
Not very much, but we don't have a choice.
With their sister named after the Dot. There was something about this uncontainable, rebellious energy that was thrilling to watch, but it also had another trick in its slacks. Music.
I'm introducing a new fall line.
Polka dot?
If you insist.
Being effectively a spiritual successor of the Looney Tunes, Richard Stone composed the music in Looney Tunes style, specifically that of Carl Stalling. Stalling began his career composing for silent movies because, they were silent. So they'd have an organ player in the cinema with you, like somebody with a massive mobile phone.
Hello? You'll have to speak up. I'm at a silent movie.
This led him to working on the earliest Mickey Mouse shorts. Here, instead of the music being made first and the film gets synchronized to that, he would create the music that followed the action on screen, leading to the term Mickey Mousing. And we hear it whenever a character walks on tiptoes or falls from a great height. These might feel cliche now, but they were invented by Stalling. In the 1930s, Stalling defected to Warner Bros., applying his breakneck, fast-paced musical narrative style to the Looney Tunes. But now he had a major advantage. Full access to the entire Warner Bros. Library of music. This meant he could now add quotations, basically working in references to other songs within the score itself. For example, if there was a scene set on a conveyor belt or a chase, Stalling would frequently reference the song Powerhouse by Raymond Scott, which also gets used for this toy shop chase sequence. This musical quotation continues in Animaniacs like this. Also the character Hello Nurse, or her real name, Helioise Nurse? Really? Actually? Okay, fine, alright. The theme song for Hello Nurse is clearly riffing on the theme song for Jessica Rabbit.
Yes, Dr. Scratch and Sniff?
By recontextualizing the music with specific moments in cartoons, it creates a permanent imagery or a feeling that the song will always be synonymous with. Like if I said Toccata in D minor by Bach, what's the image that springs to mind? How about now? Blue. And this is still a phenomenon to this day, like TikTok memes. But that's just about the score. What about the actual songs?
You write S-A-N-T and another A-2, but Noel.
Animaniacs was conceived to be a variety show, not only with a cast of characters like a sketch show, but also musical numbers, often taking traditional, classical or folk songs and either writing or rewriting the lyrics.
Oh, I had a girl and she was good, but one of her legs was made of wood.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Columbus is the capital of Ohio.
This infuses the songs with a kind of false nostalgia. They're familiar sounding despite being effectively brand new. After all, canonically, the Warners were supposedly created in the 1930s, mimicking the black and white characters like Felix the Cat, Oswald the Rabbit, and even Mickey the Mouse. The show's very premise operates on a fictional nostalgia, so it's fitting that the songs do the same.
Whoopie-tie-I-O, get along, little doggies. You know that Wyoming will be your new home.
Whoopie-tie-I-O, strong, brave Magellan. You'll find the East Indies, you just don't know where.
In fact, I'm going to give this a go with this video sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace allows you to build your own websites with its all-in-one management system. This means you can easily drag and drop content like images and videos and then rearrange however you please, even if you know nothing about programming websites. I'm pretty proud of my design, not to blow my own horn, except I will. One feature that I especially like is that every template is already designed to work on any device, even mobile, which is perfect for me to assemble my portfolio and have a website that's professional looking, even if I am not. Oh my god, that worked. So head on over to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch with your first website or domain, use the URL squarespace.com/Eddache or simply the coupon code Eddache and you'll get 10% off. Now that's music to my ears. Now, back to the video. So who was responsible for this abundance of musical numbers in Animaniacs?
The government!
In the 1980s, there had been a noticeable decline in educational kids shows, and a rise in shows that were seen as either too violent or basically there just to sell toys. This led the FCC to pass a law called the Children's Television Act in 1990, demanding that TV stations broadcast more children's shows that are educational and informative. Otherwise, they will lose their license. For many cartoons, this led to the tenuous and infamous "We learned something important today" message at the end of every episode.
And if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die.
This was to crowbar in some life lesson or moral and pretend it was actually being informative all along. Animaniacs parody this specifically with the Wheel of Morality.
The Wheel of Morality adds boring educational value to what would otherwise be an almost entirely entertaining program.
Despite this, the Animaniacs still had to comply in some way to secure a TV spot, so other workarounds involved meeting historical figures, as well as music with educational content. Well, not all the time. And there's no better example of this than YAKKO'S World.
United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru.
Inspired by his son's geography homework, songwriter Randy Rogel joined the Animaniacs team by pitching a song that lists all the nations in the world in under 2 minutes to the tune of the Mexican Hat Dance. And it's arguably the show's most famous song outside of the theme tune. Oh god, no, wait, no, the Pinky and the Brain theme song. What am I talking about? Never mind, the second most famous song. Under its zany surface, the show was very intelligently written, and the songs were as witty as they were catchy. But YAKKO'S World doesn't have any gags. It's basically just a list of country names, right? Well, there's humour in the scale and comprehensiveness of it. We can't help but be impressed to hear all the countries in rhyme form, and we get a kick out of that.
Tunisia, Morocco, Uganda, Angola, Zimbabwe, Djibouti, Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia, Swaziland, Gambia, Guinea, Algeria, Ghana.
And they repeat this trick with other list-style songs like Yakko's Universe.
Across the interstellar voids are a billion asteroids, including meteors and Halley's Comet too.
But YAKKO'S World is hugely popular with fans today, and voice actor Rob Paulson has made it something of a party trick that he's still able to memorize the song to this day.
The Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium, and Portugal, France, England, Denmark, and Spain.
So maybe the song is educational to fulfill that promise to the government. Except it's not that either. The 160-ish countries listed have some missing, such as South Africa, Ivory Coast, and Wales. Tidy! Some are named incorrectly, like Trinidad and Tobago is just called Tobago. And at no fault of the song itself, countries have formed and dissolved since the song was written, making it outdated, like the USSR, previously covered as just Russia, which had created several independent countries like Kazakhstan.
my wife.
Look, there's a lot, and there's a big list of them, and I'm not going to read them all, but you get the idea.
And in YAKKO'S world, Tibet is not technically a country.
In a playful nod to the inaccuracies and changes since, an extra verse was added to some of the more recent live performances to add more nations.
I don't have any music, but check this out. Montenegro and Bosnia-Herzegovina, the Soviet Union is gone.
It still doesn't quite cover everything, but fuck it. Despite this, even with the changes and stuff, this is still just a list of names. So any actual educational benefit is negligible. It kind of feels like a prank, like they're tricking the executives who are so insistent on this government ruling, and they're getting away with it. It's just fun. It's another silly gimmick on top of a massive pile of them, and if anything, this is the true rebellious nature of the Animaniacs in full swing, because it's constantly towing the line with what it can get away with.
I found prints! No, fingerprints. I don't think so.
And to cap it off, here's a song that appears edutainment on the surface, but it's just classic irreverence, defiant of a government and executive bureaucracy, sticking it to the man and laughing in its face. As the 90s rolled on, networks drifted away from any non-educational content for kids, and coupled with the rise of cable channels like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, the Children's Television Act would effectively kill the Saturday morning cartoon block. Eventually, the expensive-to-make Animaniacs was cancelled in favour of the cheaper-to-import Pokemon, and after 1999's straight-to-video movie Wacko's Wish, it seemed like all was lost. Until that fake nostalgia became real nostalgia.
I'm so excited about this. This is my first podcast, and welcome to it.
In 2011, Rob Paulsen began a podcast series called Talking Toons, where he would interview many of his voice actor and industry friends. Some of these were recorded in front of a live audience, including a performance of Animaniacs songs with songwriter Randy Rogel, which then became a tour with the voice cast to create Animaniacs Live in 2016. Coupled with the show's renewed popularity on Netflix, this all led to a revival being commissioned in 2017, becoming the 2020 two-season reboot. Animaniacs got the last laugh, and all with the help of a song about a bunch of countries. Now that's funny. But we've learned something important today.
And now a message from the Eddache Rangers.
Hey, do you want a beer?
Hey kids! I was just watching you.
That's creepy.
Remember, Billy.
How did you know my name?
Never forget to tie your shoelaces. Susie didn't, and she's dead.
But I'm Susie.
Are you? It's okay. She's in hell now, and knowing is half the battle. So have you got any weed? I've just rolled out some new tiers over on Patreon, including saying your name at the end of these credits, so I'm going to do that now in the style of the nations of the world. Here we go. Molo Kasemi, Salix Joe Jennings, Ahoy Boy Paul Nimpeya, Aidan Thomas, Decca Dane, Aaron Ann Marcana, Calvin Green, Sloan Schoolcraft, and also Harry Potter. And if you want me to say your name, then support me on Patreon. Haha!